let's summarize what we've covered within this session. We've evaluated the laws of training. From Zatsiorsky, we've looked at the notion of individualization, overload, the main law of training, the law of specificity, and we also looked at the idea in terms of training adaptation, things like residual effects and cumulative effects and partial effects. We then got into the models of training, and we owe an enormous amount of debt to Sale and Sale's general adaptation syndrome, which, although was modeled originally using what he termed noxious agents, things like CO2 and carbon monoxide, he also had some exercise data, very limited. But fundamentally, his notion of going from what he calls the alarm phase to the resistance phase to the exhaustion phase is, as we saw in what we use in exercise science, which is the single factor theory of training, which is the law of supercompensation, exactly the same. And that the key to all of this is fatigue and recovery. We fatigue the organism. As Sale referred to, you apply stress. Fatigue is stress. Assuming we then have optimal recovery to reflect the amount of fatigue, you compensate and then move to supercompensation. But that only occurs if that fatigue, that stress, is beyond the habitual homeostatic level. We also dealt with the notion of progressive overload against the idea of potential maladaptation, which is where we don't allow for adequate recovery, but recognizing that there could be a spin-off from that, which is the notion of shocking microcycles, whereby you get a significant gain in adaptation if that period of high magnitude fatigue is connected with a prolonged period of recovery.